Hello, we hope you're doing well. Welcome back to a very exciting episode of CSK News. I hope you guys all enjoy. As always, all of today's stories will be timestamped down below. And let's get into our first story out there, and big drama, of course, involving, and I didn't mean that ironically enough, it's actually Smooya, who apparently deleted some tweets out there. I'll show you guys very shortly, and a bit dramatic out there. We're not really sure the exact issue, if he's actually struggling right now with life as it is. He actually tweeted out something like this, kind of losing the love for life, which is obviously a very depressing tweet. And I do want to quickly say this actually was serious. Smooya, if you are watching, or if you're a fan of Smooya watching, feel free to reach out to the guy, because if it is actually a serious situation, we can help you. You have plenty of fans out there. There's always help, and there's always someone to talk to. So get that out of the way first. But the more likely situation here is, of course, it's probably just for drama. It might be a troll. I hope it's not serious. But again, I'm sure many of you guys watching can assume it's not going to happen. Of course, he later tweeted out something else as well and deleted this tweet, and that does read 5 Germans is better than 4. Of course, immediately people think, oh my gosh, there's 4 Germans on the German big roster. Oh gosh, Smooya is not German. He's actually from the UK. Pretty obvious. It's a hint at apparently him being replaced by a German player on the roster. So people immediately think, oh my gosh, the major's coming up. It's over a month away. They're going to replace Smooya before the major. I highly, highly doubt it. Now, no one is going to ever know, most likely, unless they clear it up, what went on behind the scenes for him to actually tweet that out in the first place. Was it a joke? Was it a troll? And we're not really sure, but it goes to the 2 main reasons right now of why they're not going to replace him. He's most notably, of course, he is their opper, one of their better players, if not their best player in clutch situations. Ever since their run at ESO Cologne, it's pretty awesome to see this guy is very, very hyped up, and when it comes to being on the big stage, he can actually handle the pressure. But on top of that, most notably as well, we of course have sticker deadlines coming up. It'd be pretty traumatic for a team out there, especially when you given the history of Smooya with Epsilon and the big kind of drama he had around Epsilon when they were apparently paying him under his wages. He made a big scene about it. It'd be a pretty big and bad scene for Big to actually have this guy make his signature, make his sticker, and all of a sudden the major not have him around, especially because I think when it comes to a fan vote, he's probably one of their better players and one of their most liked players as well. So I highly doubt it. I'm sure you guys watching or click on the video know this anyway. I highly doubt it. 99.95% do not think the Big's going to change the roster before the major for those 2 reasons. So anyway, moving on to maybe some more serious stuff out there. We actually have, of course, Fragadelphia going on this past weekend. If you guys did not watch it as well, it was actually Swag's team, his new team, known as Swole Patrol, alongside FREAKAZOiD's younger brother Cooper. They took the event in dominating fashion. I think there was actually a scoreline on Reddit as well. I think all in all, the average scoreline of all their matches, of all 11 matches they played, was 16-7. They only dropped 77 rounds over the course of 11 matches, which is insane to say. And of course, you guys know the lower tier North American competition who is generally at this event, but still, nonetheless, with Swag in the roster and Marky wasn't even playing for them, Swole Patrol did look pretty awesome. But it was actually former CLG member HaZed playing for Team Mythic, and apparently they were playing against a team known as Accelerated, and that's who Stellar played for. So Stellar took to Twitter to apparently, I guess you could say, represent his frustrations about having to wait for Team Mythic. Apparently, I think the current allegations out there, and again, I wasn't at the event, many of you guys probably weren't at the event either. We don't know exactly how long it was actually Mythic who made Accelerated actually wait to play their game, but apparently one of Mythic's members, Lex, was actually playing for Mythic as well as another team. I'm not sure if that's the correct rumor out there. I'm not really sure how loose the rulebook is at Fragadelphia. Obviously pretty loose if that's the case, but apparently they were actually waiting to replace Lex or actually have Lex play the game, and that's why they made Accelerated wait so long. Stellar took to Twitter. Apparently HaZed fired back, and eventually fired back even further tweets after he actually was drinking. And I do want to clarify as well, we were not there, guys. We don't know how long the wait actually was. Later on, we actually had Flom get involved as well, and he said even the previous night for this same tournament, they were actually having problems going through all the brackets as fast as possible, having a problem getting all the teams situated, and it was actually Mythic who stayed up late to play an extra best of 3, so the next day would actually move on faster. So, and again, CLG, I keep on saying CLG HaZed. HaZed actually did own up to it. I do gotta respect the guy, because after all of that, most people out there would delete their tweets, try and hide the evidence. Of course, Reddit would actually catch the evidence no matter what, but still, nonetheless, people out there would usually delete those kind of tweets. He kept it up. He apologized. He didn't use his being drunk as an excuse, and those were some funny tweets anyway. But hopefully moving on from the situation, hopefully nothing too bad. But again, Stellar did fire some heavy shots at HaZed. He might have won that fight. And also another tournament went on this weekend. That was actually IEM Shanghai. And IEM Shanghai actually made me really sad. Now, I know a lot of you guys could not watch the finals of NRG versus Tyloo because it was, of course, in Shanghai. It was actually perfect time for me. The finals started at 8 p.m. my time. But for most of you European viewers out there, which most of you guys are, that's sometime early in the morning. So I understand if you guys didn't actually watch it. So I'll give you guys some spoilers as well. And why the event actually made me very sad was, of course, NRG took the title. They took IEM Shanghai. They took home 125K prize prize pool. I am so happy for the guys over there, but it makes me incredibly sad as to why this team could not make the major. Now, I'll give you guys a little recap as well of the teams they beat throughout the entire event, throughout group stages as well. It was kind of an immaculate run. The teams they beat, of course, 3 of the teams I'll name off here are all major teams. They beat HR in a best of 3. They beat them 2-1. They swept Gambit 2-0, and in the finals, they dominated Tyloo 2-0. So again, just a recap there, they 2-0 swept Tyloo and Gambit, and this is also a LAN event, and they also beat HR 2-1. Now, HR, you could debate how they've been looking, especially the past couple of weeks, and without Woxic at the event, they still had Fej, though, in the lineup as well, still performing decently well. So those are 3 victories right there at IEM Shanghai alone, with a major over a month away, and we're not going to see NRG there. Instead, we'll see Complexity and Rogue, and we'll see some broken North American rosters and MiBR, kind of a new roster, Cloud9, a half a roster, which hopefully will announce their new team sometime soon. It just makes me ashamed. Such a good team who deserves to be there just failed when it came to the major qualifier. It makes me hope in the future that major qualifiers and the minor system will be rethought, so teams like NRG, who look so dominant, can actually make it past that. Now, there's other talks about there, because Tyloo looked pretty decent as well. On top of that, Virtus.pro looked pretty good throughout group play. Overall, IEM Shanghai, a very fun tournament to watch. I guess you could say some of these teams are maybe sleeper teams for the major, but overall, NRG dominated the competition, and they make me so sad inside. I wish I could see my boys in the major. And also, and very lastly, of course, we actually had last week the Star Series qualifier for Star Series Season 6. Another team out there I think is heavily underrated. Of course, we talked about them a couple days ago and a couple episodes ago about the drama about Loba. That's actually the Imperial. They let Loba go because of, I guess you could say, taking on sponsors would be a bit of a hardship given his Twitter and his reputation out there. It was kind of a sad situation to see, but hopefully both ends went out peacefully. And if you guys didn't know, their new roster has now finally been finalized, with Haji and Poon joining the roster, and officially that will be in place of Tensky and Crystal. So, of course, one of their better players, Esperanto, if you guys know the story over there, it was kind of Esperanto who was out first, and the team kind of redebated, and within 48 hours, it was actually Esperanto back in the roster, and Crystal and Tensky were out, and now it's actually Poon and Haji back in. And I want to say this roster is heavily underrated. Another team out there I wish had actually made the major as a sleeper team, at least in a major qualifier, because if you guys look throughout the Star Series qualifiers, the teams these guys beat, it's a hefty list, and no one's really talking about that. To list off all the teams for you guys, I think I tried to memorize all of them. The first of which, not too impressive, it was actually Epsilon. They also beat Team Sprout. It's close to a top 20 team. They also 2-0 swept Tempo Storm, Optic, and very lastly, Space Soldiers. So a crazy list of teams all throughout the Star Series qualifier, and I believe I could be wrong here, guys. I have the results on screen as well. I'm pretty sure they were all 2-0 sweeps. Epsilon, Tempo Storm, Sprout, Optic Gaming, and Space Soldiers. They 2-0 swept all of them. Unfortunately enough, they met Fragsters in the final, and it was actually Fragsters, again, a rising team back, and I think it was actually early this summer. So a notable team out there who probably could have made at least the minor, maybe made the major qualifier themselves, that being Fragsters, upset them in the finals to actually take that land spot for Star Series Season 6. But still, the Imperial have now finalized this roster with Poon and Haji, and they look pretty good. Hopefully a rising team in the future. Now again, when we saw Haji with his previous team, of course, not really the most, I guess you could say, standout player, but hopefully the Imperial can make it work. They are on the rise, guys, and officially a top 25 team once again. Oh, and by the way, Optic did not have Config there at the event. I do want to say that, but they had Nico from Heroic, and he was still one of their better players, if not their top 2 fragger for every single map. But that is a notable thing to say. Optic Gaming, of course, probably a much better team than the Imperial. Config was not there, but still, notable performances. And also some side stories out there. It was actually this morning we had Team AGO finally replace Snatchy. Of course, Snatchy going to Virtus.pro and playing some Morels over there. Probably a pretty good pickup for Virtus.pro. I think still a good pickup here for AGO, replacing him, and that's going to be Spiro. Spiro was actually on the Kinguin bench. So a lot of Polish players being transitioned around. I think we also had Pride Gaming, who again, like I said, I know I say earlier this summer a lot when I say these kind of things, but 3 to 4 months ago, Pride was actually a rising Polish team themselves, and I think they actually just dropped a couple of guys too. So a lot of Polish changes coming sometime soon, and it's actually AGO picking up Spiro this morning, and I don't know about this thing. I like it though. Every time they actually add or get rid of a player, they always do like the whole like hold the hand thing of the owner, which is cool. I guess it's a bonding situation. But on top of that, guys, we also had former Mythic member Adren. If you guys don't know the North American legend himself, that's actually Adren who got married this past weekend. So congrats to him. And also very lastly, guys, I do want to talk about the Peacemaker story. Peacemaker came out with HLTV, and I'm actually very curious if we're going to have a topic of discussion for today in the comment section, which, by the way, thank you guys who all commented on yesterday's video. I do want to say a quick apology, but also kind of a not apology for yesterday's video. I whined a lot. You guys know on Sunday's episodes I tell the truth. I just want to kind of complain a little bit, and I complained about the CSGO case, and thank you guys who all kind of spark conversations in the comment section. That's what I love about my videos. You guys can click dislike buttons all you want, but if you comment down below a reason as to why, I appreciate that. So I guess a topic of discussion for today's episode is Peacemaker's future. If you guys of course know his history, I guess you could say all of his short stints with Misfits, Tempo Storm, Heroic, I know I'm missing at least a couple others, all of those, I guess you could say, short stints of coaching lasting no more than a few months, and apparently he actually came out with HLTV, and it was actually Fallen who also confirmed he was a recommendation, or at least on the tip of the tongue, or maybe even an option or consideration for the MiBR spot that went to Yanko. So he did actually come out with a huge twit longer. I'll link it down below. Apparently he has had health issues, and that's why he left Heroic. And even with his extensive history in the sport, you have to look at his past 3 or 4 occupations lasting not long at all, and it really makes you question, at least if I was a team owner out there, and again, my opinion really doesn't matter to any team owners, but again, you'd have to really wonder why exactly he lasted for such short period of time at every spot he's been to, and to actually come out and actually kind of make sure to mention to everyone that he was an MiBR option. It just seems like a little bit of a subtle brag, but apparently he actually is fielding offers out there for several teams. He does not want to make the wrong choice as to where he goes, and I do agree, because it's almost coming to the point in time where he's becoming the Michael of coaches, which you probably do not want to be. I think you guys can figure out that reference. And very lastly, in today's episode of CSGO News, we do have some really cool stuff coming, and I have a reason for doing this, by the way. It's actually Motar2k, who has been striking the scene, I don't know why, but he's came back in the CSGO scene with a fury, and I do love it. If this guy can single-handedly pick up the CSGO scene and fund it and make it well again, well, congrats. I'm sure he's probably not watching this, but actually, 2 things from Motar2k. Apparently, he, of course, last week invited Swag to his house in LA. I think it's the house in LA. It could be a separate house of his, but apparently, he is now offering both Swag and Nothing to his house to teach him CSGO, which is also awesome. But even more importantly, thanks to Adam who sent this clip into me, Motar2k had a challenge for MoTV.
Mo, who would want to see me and Mo box or fight in the ring? I'll give Mo a challenge. If he can survive for 1 minute without me choking him out, I'll give him 10K. But we get to stream it.
Now, I'm not sure where the whole boxing match came to choking him out, but I would definitely love to see this. Now, I would not love to see $10,000 go to Mo, not like he even needs it, but still, I would love to see the challenge. I think it's great for the CSGO scene, so if this can actually happen, and Mo did respond saying challenge accepted, I would love to see it, guys. Just like the YouTube fight, of course, Logan Paul, KSI. Would you guys like to see it? Because I definitely would. I think either way, it would make for a fun stream. So, hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode of CSGO News. If you guys did, leave a like or leave a comment down below, and I will see you all hopefully sometime soon. As always, my name is Jim, like you, and I'll see y'all then. Goodbye.